Welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel, to the Hbar family. Appreciate all the love. Let's get right in today's update and see what's happening with Hbar as we are going into Wednesday morning. And it is the FOMC meeting day. Obviously, a rate cut is anticipated, so we are to be looking out for that. But leading into the FOMC meeting, you could see for yourself, market has seen a little bit of a retracement. If you did watch some of my most recent updates, you guys know I've been talking about expect some volatility. But H bar is down about 4% over the course of the last 24 hours. But again, let's not forget, H bar has been doing amazing over the course of the last week and a half. But let's take a closer look and see what's really happening with H bar's price right now after the ETF has officially now gone live for spot ETF for HBAR, which is insane to think about. It's a historic moment. I know people might not think that right now, but I think as we go further into the future, people will realize, how revolutionary, today really was. Well, not today now because we have past midnight here in North America. It is October 29th, but people will look back on October 28th and people will talk about, because we have never seen another spot ETF besides Bitcoin and Ethereum, and now we're seeing that starting. But looking at HBAR's price, still holding really good in my opinion. 19.4 cents, down about 3.5% on the USD side of things, down 3% on the Bitcoin side of things. Again, tying back to the broader market seeing a little bit of a minor pullback. And of course, sell the news event also does take place, believe it or not. As far as the valuation is concerned, $8.3 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume at about 800 million. Again, the volume is always something that I be paying attention to, and it's quite interesting to see such a big spike on the H bar side of things, because let me tell you, as I told you guys yesterday, I make updates for you guys every single day of the week for H bar, whether it was exciting time, boring time. I've always given you guys the updates, and we have not seen this much volume for quite some time. So that is obviously a nice thing to be pointing out to. But before we get into any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer: anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So Hedera Foundation posted this: today marks history as HBAR becomes the third ever crypto ETF to launch after Bitcoin and Ethereum. To make this clear, out of the 19 plus million cryptocurrencies that CoinMarketCap tracks, it was the Canary Funds HBAR ETF that passed, citing Hedera institutional grade network. And obviously, to add to this, Solana also got that ETF approved, as well as Litecoin. So we gotta mention those two in this. But let's take a further look and see what's really happening with the price of HBAR. But before we do that, we cannot forget what's happening with the broader market. If you're looking at the dominance, you could see for yourself, you can make this up at this point. Dominance actually went up to 60.11% just earlier yesterday, but we have pulled down once again. We're currently up to 59.88%. So again, dominance did see a big strength on its side. We did push back above 60%. That's something we want to factor in. Yes, we're finding ourselves below it once again, but these are things we shouldn't really be ignoring. Bitcoin, on the other hand, though, let's give Bitcoin a look on the hourly time frame. So Bitcoin last night, believe it or not, was sitting at $116,000. See for yourself. And obviously, going into Tuesday morning, we did see a little bit of a retracement. Like I said, market kind of preparing itself for the FOMC meeting. Usually does tend to happen, and you can see we saw a retracement of about 3.24% for Bitcoin. And again, in a Bitcoin standard, as I've mentioned before, that is not a small move. And you could see for yourself, we came down to 112. Very, very interesting thing happening right now. Remember, we were having a hard time breaking out of the $112,000 price point, but now that exact same resistance that we were having a hard time breaking above, which again, I know a lot of people find it surprising that, we were having a hard time breaking out of that $112,000 price point, but that just tells you, there was not much interest after this major market liquidation that we saw happen. But now that exact same level played as a support, and we have seen a bounce. And as of recording this update, we're sitting at $113,000 for Bitcoin, which again is not bad, as we are obviously starting out Wednesday. So as we do go further, we are going to see the rate cut, and maybe after the rate cut is announced, we do see the market picking up. But again, Thursday, which again is October 30th, we're going to be seeing the highly anticipated meeting between Trump and the Chinese president. That's something also we need to factor in and not forget. But as far as HBAR's price is concerned, again, we spoke about how we retested the 61.8, such an important retest. Of course, we got rejected at that level. That is a major key resistance. So, it's not a major major surprise for the Crypto ZX family that, we kind of got rejected at that key range. This is something we've spoken about on the channel quite a bit. But the fact that, we were able to kind of revisit where we were prior to this retracement is what excites me. And what also excites me is the fact that, we were already in the 61.8 prior to, this retracement. And now you could see how much people are excited just for HBAR to retest the 61.8. Yet, if you were to ask me around this time, pretty much since July, I was seeing comments left and right. Oh, why is the price of HBAR not going up? Why is it stagnant? It's not doing anything. And now people, are wishing that the price goes back to where it was back in July. And this is, a learning lesson for a lot of people to, have patience, zoom out, take a look at the bigger picture. But again, after retesting that, after we saw like about a 22% increase for HBAR in 24 hours, and after, getting rejected at that key range, we saw a retracement of about 11%. But again, we need to kind of factor in the Bitcoin retracement as well. And kind of, if you're looking over the last 24 hours, a lot of other coins already down about 3 to 4%. So again, that is something that you want to, incorporate when we are analyzing. But so where is the price of HBAR currently sitting? We are sitting at 19.4 cents. But remember, the 19.4 cents was a resistance, and now that is playing as a support. You just cannot make this up, guys. So again, we need to keep in mind, yes, we're seeing a little bit of a minor pullback. Sell the news event definitely does take place as well, because we want to kind of factor in this people that were able to get in around 14 cents. And believe it or not, some people did get in around 14 cents. Yes, the wick down to 7 cents did not fill, or, people might not have been able to buy that at that range because a lot of centralized exchanges were having a hard time around that. But anyone that were able to get in around 14 cents, did see a 56.94%, gain just this month alone. But if you bought it on the 17th at this, retracement at 15.5 cents, again, this was a 41.6% move. So not a small move by any means. Anyone that thinks this is a small move, I really hope you guys look at it from a realistic standpoint. So right now, I like how HBAR is currently holding, the previous resistance, playing as a support. Anyone that's going to come out and say, well, HBAR is going down, I want you guys to kind of zoom out and take a look at the broader market and see, what's happening. Tomorrow's the FOMC meeting. Well, today, and your market kind of is pricing itself, I think, for that. And usually, historically speaking, other FOMC meetings, we do tend to see the market kind of seeing a retracement before the FOMC meeting itself. But again, so far so good. Like what I'm seeing here, we obviously want to see the close within the 61.8, which I think will happen before this month comes to an end. We still have 3 days to make that happen. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Follow me on X if you have not done so already. Thanks for all the love. You guys are absolutely amazing. We'll see you later in Crypto ZX, and peace out.